last pod together,
Has been a
Anthony,
while.
which was 5 months.
No, we did one. It just didn't record.
Did one.
Oh, that's right.
Basically, the Chronicles of Anthony, then, this podcast.
You've become the main attraction, mate.
You gave us a good excuse to get back together and actually do one.
Nice. Let's get the band back together because the Foo Fighters can't.
That's true, mate.
Have you? That's cruel. Have you got your tour dates available? Because your website wasn't loading them up.
Yeah, don't worry about my website. Needs a lot of fixing. But yes, the Perth Comedy Festival is on the 6th and the 7th.
Yeah, don't worry about it now. I'll tell you to tell us.
Okay, yeah, prompt me.
All right.
That's on. All right.
Have you guys bought the tickets yet?
Yeah.
You've got to get the
No,
tickets.
we're going to get tickets. We'll bring them with Jerry's, I think.
I'm doing the Friday. It's
With
fine.
Jerry's.
First night.
First night, bang, bang.
Bang, bang. Big night.
So have we started recording yet? Is my awesome Foo Fighters joke not going to be in the podcast?
We haven't started the official podcast.
Use it as a soundbite, the Foo Fighters joke. It's time.
I'll put it as an outtake.
Yeah, nice.
Actually, the Men in Black's probably pretty appropriate for the whole Will Smith week too.
That's what I was thinking.
That's actually not a bad one too. Men in Black 4.
Don't get me started.
Just a quick rundown, things that I thought we'd talk about. Obviously, Oscars, because that was just fucking hilarious. And the whole, Chris Rock comedian angle.
Yeah.
Your tour dates and, a little bit about your comedy tour. Obviously, the great Azzurri result.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Shane Warne Memorial happening today. I don't know if you're into cricket at all, Anthony.
Not remotely, but I'll talk about anything.
All right. Anyway, we'll just go and jump around to a bunch of different topics, and I'm sure it'll be interesting, just like last time. Ready?
Go, mate.
Let's do it.
Do it.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Chronicles on the Fly podcast. We haven't seen you for a little while, but we got the band back together. It's Simon here with Mel, Dom, and again, our special guest, Anthony Locascio.
Woohoo.
Hey, going lads.
Welcome, mate.
Where are you coming in from, Anthony? Are you at home or?
I'm at home. Yep, but I've been relegated to the bedroom because my girlfriend is on a work call in the living room.
Right. Now, are you currently on your Australian comedy tour at the moment?
Yep, technically in smack bang in the middle of it, but I am home in Sydney for a week and a half in between Adelaide and Melbourne. So I go to Melbourne next week.
Awesome. How's the tour been so far?
It's been good. I've only done Adelaide so far. Was there for a week, did 6 shows. They sold pretty well, all in all.
You didn't get
managed
slapped?
to work. Did not get slapped this time, but it's interesting that you mentioned that because I haven't.
He hasn't been to Perth yet.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't been to Perth yet. I hear I have a lot of very upset people there. It's good. It's been good. Very good. Brilliant.
Yeah, well, we're looking forward to you coming over because Dom's getting tickets for us, all apparently.
Of course I am. That's what I do, isn't it?
Dom's the man. Third time's the charm, guys. I've had Perth shows the last 2 years in a row, and they've been cancelled 2 years in a row. So I've still got the Qantas credit. I've still got the same Qantas credit from 2020. I'm just using that.
The same hotel booking and everything.
Yeah, straight up. It's crazy.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to coming along and see if you can make us laugh. I'm sure you will. By the way, tell us when you will be here for your Perth dates.
So I arrive on the 3rd of May, and I'm doing a few of the Perth Comedy Festival galas throughout the week. 3rd of May is a Tuesday, and then my show is going to be on the 7th and the 6th of May at the Regal Theatre in Subiaco. Is that how you say that suburb?
That's it, Subiaco.
Nailed it. And I think around 7:30, something like that. And the show is called Don't Call Me a Wog.
We won't. Sounds good. All right, so you're going to be here for what, about 4 or so days?
Yeah, I'll be there Tuesday to Sunday.
Okay, almost a week. All right, beautiful. We'll have time for a beer, you reckon?
Or 3.
We'll definitely have time for a beer.
Maybe 4.
Definitely have time for a beer.
And maybe even a live podcast. We'll go down to the studio and do a podcast. That'd be awesome.
That'd be great.
We'll have an Uzo and Coke as well for your Greek half.
That would be great, gentlemen. I'll have anything.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Some grappa that's been issued to
Yeah,
him.
I've got some grappa lying around.
Definitely above percentage requirements. It's almost petrol, I think, at this point.
somewhere. Battery acid.
Yeah.
Our listeners might be aware from last time, I'm sure, if they heard the podcast, that you also have your own podcast, the Kevin Lasagna Appreciation Podcast, and you were telling me a week or two back that you might be making some changes. What's happening there?
I can't reveal anything just yet, but I have something in the pipeline, which is why the Kevin Lasagna Appreciation Podcast has been on a brief hiatus for a couple of weeks. That and it's a bit hard to do when I'm touring.
I've got to say, probably one of my favorite episodes was the one with the Fabio Quagliarella.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Amazing story.
Oh, what a story!
What a story.
What a story!
Yeah.
I had
That's
no
crazy.
idea.
I was just mentioning it. I was mentioning it to Melo before. I was like, man, that podcast was awesome. I actually had stopped. I stopped at work and I parked, and there was like 7 minutes left, and I was like, nah, I'll just rock up to work late because I got to hear the last 7 minutes. It was awesome. It was such a
Awesome
wicked
podcast.
podcast.
Thank you. It's just an insane story what this guy had to go through. He was one of my favorite players in the early 2010s,
Yeah.
and crazy backstory.
Definitely. I like the one that you were talking about, Kaiser, as well, the non-professional professional footballer who
So good.
went through a whole career of not playing but getting paid from different clubs.
Yeah,
Hilarious.
what a guy! Just a bullshit artist. The
Yeah.
honestly, the Australian dream, getting paid for nothing.
He was Brazilian, right?
Yeah. He was Brazilian.
I haven't been able to find the documentary about him though.
I think it's on Amazon, but
Is it?
I'll have to check.
What was the game where the team lost 137-0 or something like that?
It was in the Madagascan or the
That's right,
Mauritian
the Madagascan
League,
League, yeah.
and they protested a result in the previous game by having their team score like 130 own goals or something, and somehow they just let it go. They let the farce continue.
That's brilliant.
I'm trying to find that on YouTube. I'm going to look for it, actually.
Probably the only game in history that the winning team hasn't got a touch.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Classic.
Speaking of letting the farce continue, did you guys watch the Oscars?
Oh,
I thought you were going to talk about the Azzurri there for a moment when you said letting the fast continue.
No, the farce is over for the Azzurri. The farce
Yeah.
is not continuing. It's the end of the farce.
The funny thing about the whole Oscars, like down on viewers, but literally everyone saw the slap. Like I don't think anyone watched the Oscars, but everyone has seen the slap, hands down.
Yeah, it's almost like it was staged.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's that conspiracy theory going around. Where do you stand on that?
100% staged, man. Have you guys ever seen WWE? He ducked his chin. He maintains eye contact with Will Smith the whole time. He leans in with his chest. Will Smith pulls his slap, so he only slaps with his forearm. He doesn't engage the elbow or the shoulder, and he just taps him. And then
It's fingertips as well. It's not the full palm.
exactly. And Chris Rock makes no attempt to hit him back or anything. It's total theater.
Oh, but how thrown was this? He was rocked, Chris Rock. You know what I
He
mean?
was-
He was
he was
very
Chris
off his
Rock.
game after that.
Chris Rock.
Yeah, so almost like he's hosting an award ceremony for acting.
I don't know how I didn't think that you could fake how shaken up he was. You know what I mean? His voice was shaken. I didn't think if it was staged, they went overboard that he didn't expect at least.
Chris Rock is a vastly underrated actor. He's seen The Longest Yard.
Oh, brilliant movie.
Cracker.
Top 3 Adam Sandler movies, and that's a big call.
Yeah, I
Top 3
reckon
Adam
it is
Sandler
too,
movies.
to be honest.
That's a
I
big
reckon it is
call.
too.
So if it's staged, apart from the Academy's extra ratings bump that they sorely needed, who benefits? Chris Rock will benefit because a lot of more ticket sales, which I've already heard has happened for his
sales
tour.
spiked.
Yeah. But how does Will Smith benefit?
Everybody's talking about Will Smith.
Okay, but you probably knew that he was going to win Best Actor award. Isn't that enough of a promo for yourself? Like, what does he need out of
Who
it?
won the Best Actor last year?
Yeah, no idea. I don't watch it.
I couldn't tell you a best
they're gonna
actor
be-
for years.
But you're gonna be talking about Will Smith smacking Chris Rock for years. It's def. And by the way, just for Dom, who else was in The Longest Yard? That movie?
Well, how far do we wanna
Goldberg,
go?
Stone Cold Steve Austin, Kevin Nash, all the wrestlers teaching Chris Rock how to take a punch properly.
I got to admit, when I saw it, my first thought was, this is a setup. But as fast as the thought came to me, I dismissed it. And I thought, nah, that looks too real. But you've given me something to think about.
You guys want to talk about a farce? This is fresh, boys. This is like
Fresh
this
mate.
happened 45 minutes ago. So So I don't know if you guys saw this, but so I actually got punched in the face on stage a few years ago.
I was going to ask you about this one, yeah, because obviously we've seen the YouTube clip about it, yeah.
Yeah. So I put up the clip in light of the Chris Rock and another violent.
That's it.
Close enough.
Another violent.
Well, he would slap. He does a few slaps.
Yeah,
doesn't he?
that's gone
Yeah.
a different direction, mate, I think.
Well, he would have slapped Jada. Anyway, I put this video up, and I was like, yeah, in light of, like, just so you guys know, I got Will Smith a few years ago. And yesterday, randomly, this comedian that I know who writes for the Newcastle Herald, who have affiliates with like the Canberra Times and a whole bunch of other publications, he was like, bro, can I do an interview with you? So we did an interview, and he put this really cool article together very quickly, and did a very cool video where it kind of interspersed. We did a similar thing like this. We did a Zoom interview, and it interspersed my joke, the Will Smith thing, and the interview that we did, and it was a cool little video. And it was like, this has happened before to comedian Anthony Locascio, blah 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 blah. And I was really excited about it. And I posted it all over my socials. And then earlier today, a friend was like, hey, I'm clicking the link and it's not working. And I messaged the guy who wrote the article saying, hey, I think maybe they might have taken it down.
Mm.
And he came back to me 45 minutes ago and said, yeah, they have taken it down. Apparently my editor thought that your joke might offend some people.
Jesus.
So the article's gone now.
What?
This year I achieved a comedy milestone that my contemporaries would only dream of achieving this year. I got punched in the face on stage. This is entertainment, but the hazards are real, folks. The hazards are real. In the guy's defense, I did sort of call his girlfriend a mole. But in my defense, she was a fucking mole. It was horrible. I was halfway through a 10-minute set, and obviously I'm fucking crushing. And I do this old joke where I say that I'm so scared of men with neck tattoos that if I was out with my girlfriend at a club and a guy with a neck tattoo just smacked her in the face right in front of me, I'd probably just break up with her. That was the joke that I did. And as soon as I say this joke, the woman in the front row is like, next! Can we next you? Next. Like I was on fucking X Factor, right? I'm like, Miss, settle, let's talk. What did you not like about that joke? She starts chanting, hashtag me too, hashtag me too, hashtag me too. I'm like, fucking seriously, what can I do? So I just sighed and I said to her, hey, miss, do me a favor, on your way out, check underneath your seat. Obviously, there's a horrible mole magnet underneath. As soon as I said this, the boyfriend, who had been enjoying my setup until this point, just goes into hero mode. Not on, mate, not on! That's the footnote to this story. He was a pom, right? Probably would have come at me if I asked his girlfriend at the time, but doesn't matter. Not on, mate, not on! And he rushes the stage. Now, I saw him coming, obviously. I had the higher ground, so I gave some serious thought to kicking him in the face. But I decided not to, because that's a totally different BuzzFeed headline. So instead, I just blocked. He grazed the side of my cheek, and by the time I turned around, his mates had taken him out of the room. I finished the set, because I'm a goddamn professional, and I leave. And as I'm leaving, there's this group of fobs in the back row who I had the nerve to think before the show, hey, these guys might be a bit of a problem. One of them grabs me and goes, hey, bro, don't worry about it. Yeah, I've got a great story now, eh? I do. I hold no ill will towards the guy. In fact, I feel sorry for him. Like, I put him in a horrible position. Imagine if a devilishly handsome stranger with a microphone called your girlfriend a mole. You've got two options. You've got two options as far as I see it. You either punch him in the face, or you probably just have to break up with her. I hold no ill will towards the guy because when I looked in his eyes before he rushed the stage, I could see the exact thought process that he was going through. Fucking hell. Fucking hell, Karen, again. Not on, mate, not on!
Who gets offended by them?
So the idea is that I'm a coward. The idea is not that I'm condoning violence or anything.
Exactly. So you're in their opinion, you're being offensive to your girlfriend or guys with neck tattoos?
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
Yeah.
That's a good point. That's pretty funny, Simon. I might have to do something.
That's where we're not being woke enough.
No, well, maybe you offended Chris Brown.
Just insanity.
But this is the world we live in. It's this wokeism bullshit. And we've talked about this many times on this podcast. You know, wokeism is just destroying the world. And it's the reason why Will Smith got up to slap the guy. It's all of this woke bullshit, you know?
I didn't think that was such a bad joke. It wasn't like...
It wasn't overly funny and it wasn't overly offensive.
But like G.I. Jane, like she's a very powerful woman, you know what I mean? She was a Navy SEAL or Special Forces or something, so not a bad...
It's also a reference from 25 years ago, so it's not a very good joke.
But I was more confused. I'm like, so is it, they talk about alopecia. Isn't that just men? Isn't that just balding? Isn't that all it really is? It's just a fancy name for it?
It's not male pattern baldness. It's a different thing where your hair falls out. But either way, the joke wasn't about her having alopecia. The joke was just about her haircut. I think it's not woke. I think it's inverted wokeness from Will Smith. It's like, oh, I'm the chivalrous man. I'm going to defend my woman because she can't defend herself. So I'm going to go smack this guy. If anything, it's anti woke. But then in my situation, they tried to put me on the woke side. They tried to be like, well, we don't need to set a precedent for comedians getting attacked, and this is not acceptable, until they actually heard the joke that I said, and then I was overruled because my joke is offensive.
It was a bit odd though that he was laughing beforehand, then he saw her face and kind of did a bit of a Kanye, sort of went from
That's
smiling.
exactly what happened to me, Dom. The boyfriend that slapped me laughed at my joke, and then he looked at his misso, and she was like, "No." And then
so it's completely that in that situation that the guy, Will Smith, or this guy that slapped you, I suppose, they're under the thumb by the girlfriend or the wife who wears the pants in the relationship, and to overcompensate and try to make themselves feel and seem more macho in the eyes of their partner, they go way overboard.
Yeah, straight hero mode.
Or, like you said, it was just straight staged, and then that argument kind of goes out the door.
Yeah, 100%.
But if you look at their relationship,
it's weird.
Jada and Will Smith, he's an absolute cuckold, literally, in the literal sense of the word, because they have an open marriage where she has had a long affair and then got caught, and then the marriage becomes open and she can sleep with whoever she wants. I don't know if he does as well, but you know what I mean? Like, how emasculating is that? He's castrated. And that's why he's overcompensated in the moment.
100%.
It was a weird reaction, I must admit. There was a couple, but even so, not only the reaction to looking at her and then changing your demeanor, which I thought was a bit odd, even sitting back down, like up until he sat back down, I entirely thought it was a skit. Like that was the only part that I'd actually query. That was, all right, maybe it's not a joke at this point, up until that point. And then what I find is really odd is at what point can you go up and slap someone on stage and then just go sit back down? How is that allowed?
Yeah, why haven't security removed him?
That should have been what happened. He should have been, you know that scene in Casino where the guy disrespects the casino because he puts his boots up on the table and De Niro goes, I want you to march him out and open the door with his head.
Yep.
That's what should have happened to Will Smith. Security should have grabbed him, picked him up, and slammed open the door with his head.
Yeah.
And then the next stop should have been the police station.
Question is, if that was Mel Gibson, what would have happened?
Yeah.
But instead, 10 minutes later, he's up there accepting award for Best Actor and getting applauded and fake crying. The speech just topped it all off, mate. If you actually listen to the bullshit that he said, that I want to be a vessel for love, and oh my God. This is impossible that this is happening in reality.
I was a protector for these girls. I was a protector. I had to be a protector. Shut the fuck up, bro. What do you mean protector? It's 2022.
Yeah.
It's art imitating life. My wife said to me this morning, she said, if anybody ever offended me and you're there, if you went and hit them, I'll be so pissed off with you because I can handle myself.
You'd be so embarrassed. Like, what are you doing, man? This isn't the footy pitch.
Yeah.
Also, Mello, you're if Mel Gibson doesn't get invited to the Oscars anymore, it's run by Jews.
Yeah,
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
That's always been the case. He was
Always
done
been
straight
done.
after that happened. That was if we go back to one of our first ever podcasts, we actually discussed this. It was like, pretty much to the Academy, you can do whatever you want. Just don't offend the Jews. That's it. This is basically the rule, because you can be Roman Polanski, you can be Woody Allen,
Harvey Weinstein.
you can be Harvey Weinstein, keep your award, but you make a Jewish joke, yeah, gone. No more.
Well, you're not getting invited after saying that. That's for sure, Dom.
But that's the rule. That seems to be the rule. Like, there's no really. Why is Roman Polanski allowed to keep his Academy Award, and then they discuss about Will Smith losing his? That makes no sense at all.
He won't lose his because if they were to take his award off him, then you know what the claim will be: racism.
Yeah.
And so, because that's already come up, even though it was a black man against a black man, the racism argument has already been played. The card has already been played online, and that's as toxic as it comes. But imagine if the Academy took away his Best Actor award, it would definitely be the claim: you're being racist to black people.
Yeah, but then the Scientologists would all come up.
Everyone's a
and
victim.
Give him a go, because he's like quasi. What is he like? Quasi Scientology. He's sort of in it, but sort of not at the same time.
The whole thing just stinks of the hypocrisy of Hollywood, man.
Yep.
These people think that they can dictate to us, on whatever their activism of the day is, climate change or equal rights, equal pay, all the bullshit that they go on about. And then this is allowed to stand, and you get awarded and applauded for it.
The question is Jim Carrey going to work again? That's what I want to know. After his little outburst, did you hear his outburst?
Yeah, he doesn't give a shit. He'll be fine.
What do you say, Mel?
It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really make too much of a difference to us because, like you said, Simon, you don't even watch it. I didn't watch it. I just saw the video for the thing. Truly, if you're somebody watching the Oscars and being influenced by what's happening and what the messaging is, then you deserve to be slapped by Will Smith too.
But we're the minority, Anthony. We look at it and all we do is laugh at it and critique it, right? But there are a lot of people out there who don't have the brain cells that we have, as many, and they are influenced by these repulsive people. You know what I mean? They are influenced. They look up to the Kardashians. These people are just they're just more Kardashians. That's all they are.
Hey, Kim Kardashian's gotten a lot of people out of jail that were falsely accused. So
kudos to that. Yeah,
a lot of people.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth, Simon.
Well, lucky for that big black cock that she sucked on. That she got to the status level now. Not just the wealth, but the status level that she can get people out of jail. So thank God for that.
I think there's going to be a lot of editing in this episode.
Nah, it's going straight to air, mate. Don't worry.
I will admit about Kim Kardashian, she is extremely good at remaining relevant because in no point in her career was she relevant, but somehow she's always in the paper. They're always relevant in culture and pop culture. And I'm like, I don't know, I don't get it, I don't understand it, but kudos to whoever they do it because it works for them.
Let's move on to something that is near and dear and close to our hearts, and the most important topic in the world at the moment, and that's our beloved Azzurri not qualifying for a second World Cup in a row. Anthony, how'd you handle it, mate? Did you just to put it out there quickly? I didn't give a shit. I'm indifferent to this team now. I've lost the passion for them. It'll come back eventually, but for this team, no. How do you see it?
I'm the same as you. I was actually rather desensitized to it, to the point where I didn't even watch the match. I didn't watch the North Macedonia game. Yeah,
Smart move.
So a week before, I watched U of A play decently with a very, very depleted side against a very underrated Villarreal team, and then sort of get sucker punched and get really ignominiously knocked out of the Champions League. And again, I was in the middle of my Adelaide Fringe Festival run, and I kind of went, okay, whatever. And then I saw my favorite player for U of A get told that he will not be playing for the club next year.
Dybala.
And he's sort of been kicked out, again, ignominiously. And so when I'm sitting there on the Thursday night weighing up whether to set my alarm for 6:15 or whatever it was to get up to watch Italy, North Macedonia, I said to myself, well, I'm going to wake up and see one of two outcomes. Either Italy are going to stutter to defeat North Macedonia on penalties or maybe with a fluky extra time goal, and it's going to be one of the most boring games I've ever seen in my life, or Italy are going to lose, and I don't want to see either of those two things. And so when I woke up and saw that they did lose, I kind of just chuckled and got on with my life because, like you say, well, what have we become used to? Having said that, if you had asked me, and I'll ask the three of you, and I know what your answer is going to be, if you had said to me that we sacrifice winning the Euro and we have, I don't know, Italy make it to the semi-final of both the Euro and the World Cup, I'm not taking that. I'm taking the Euro.
Yeah, I'll take the Euro every day of the week.
World Cup.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll take the Euro.
Yep. Not even. Yep. Easy.
The Euro win meant nothing to me, apart from a statistic.
You're a hard man to please, eh, Simon?
This has been a shit team since before the Euros, and the whole world has been sucked in by that Euro 2020 victory to think that this is actually a good team. I spent that whole tournament. I didn't celebrate once. You know, I tell a lie. When Chiesa scored his goal against Spain in the semi-final, I did a fist pump because it was a great goal. Chiesa is an exciting player to watch. But when Donnarumma saved the final penalty in the shootout in the final against England, I laughed and shrugged my shoulders. That's how I celebrated, because they did not deserve any of that. This team sucks.
So how did they win the Euros? And if they're a bad team, how did they win the Euros?
They rode their luck and won 2 penalty shootouts.
That's exactly what every tournament is, but every tournament's that. You could say that about any winner of any tournament.
They do not play good football at all. Look at the players. They disgust me.
I'll raise you one, Simon. You're going to disagree with me, right? The Italy squad is nothing without a strong Juventus.
No, I absolutely agree.
That is exactly
they won
what's
82
happened.
because of Juventus. Probably 2006
They
could make the same
They
claim.
won 2020 because of Juventus.
I'm a Roma fan, but I'm not anti-Juve.
Yeah.
Right? I fully recognise that historically Italy needs a strong Juventus, and I'm fully behind that.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
That's all it is. That's all it stems down to. Is there's not enough look, our front three, and I've been saying since the Euro, Insigne should have been nowhere near that squad.
Absolutely.
He was nowhere near the player he was.
Immobile as well. I've had these arguments with Mina and Nikki. When we talk before our podcast recordings, right, for Serie A Chronicles. Nikki's always been behind Immobile, and now I think she's changed her tune finally, but it's way too late.
No, but the thing is, Immobile has had form, like he has club form. He never translated that to the Italian team. All right, fine, but he's had club form. Insigne's been rubbish. Actually rubbish. He scored 7 goals and 6 penalties, and he's a shit penalty taker. I'm like, why is this guy our starting? But
he shouldn't have even been a starting player at the Euros. He didn't do anything at the Euros. He scored a beautiful goal against Belgium. Go and watch that goal and see how much they back off him. Of course, he's going to get 1 in 10 shots on target, but look at all the other 10 or 20 shots he had in that tournament. Mm-hmm. They went to the fucking corner flag or rosette, and everyone's raving about Insigne. Seriously, mate. Honestly, I couldn't stand that tournament.
Yeah, and they missed Chiesa. That's obvious. Real obvious.
There were shining lights of Euro 2020. Chiesa, Spinazzola, Donnarumma was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Bonucci and Chiellini were solid at the back.
Mm-hmm.
Jorginho passed the ball sideways 5 meters pretty well.
Yeah, but that's
What is he
fine
doing?
when you've got
the centre midfielders never shoot, never score.
But it's fine. Jorginho can pass sideways because he's got Barella and he's got Verratti there with him. That's fine.
not football.
But that
football
midfield's
is not
an
passing
issue.
sideways.
The midfield's not an issue.
Let's talk about Italian teams in Europe. You want to know what the problem is with Italian teams in Europe? Why Serie A can't bloody get anywhere in Europe, apart from not having as good players, player for player against as the other big teams. But Italian teams, except for Atalanta, have still not figured out how to play European football in the modern era. Do you know how you play it? It's all out attack. That's Champions League, Europa League football. It's all out attack. Worry about defending last. Okay? Score more goals. That's bloody an obvious cliche. Score more goals than you're going to concede. Allegri will never win the Champions League and doesn't deserve to.
Which is why last year the Champions League and Europa League were won by the two most attacking teams left, Chelsea and Villarreal.
All right. There's always exceptions, fine. But that's European football. It's all out attack.
All right, I'll disagree.
It's the 30th of March 2022. It's 6:04 p.m. here in Sydney. I'm recording this on Riverside, Chronicles on the Fly with the boys, and this is where I said it here first. Next year, Juventus are winning the Champions League.
Wow, here we go.
Ooh.
Big take. I like it. I like
love
bold
it. I love
predictions.
it.
All right. Well, okay. I said about 2 months ago, Juventus will win the Serie A this year.
Whew.
And I still haven't changed my mind.
No.
Okay. Well, if they beat Inter this weekend,
Uh,
if they beat Inter this weekend, you're going to seriously consider it.
Yeah, but you know the only issue with
No
this
chance.
year, the issue with this year, all right, it's you're not 7 points behind one team, you're behind three teams, and that's the problem I see. It's not one team you're chasing three. So you have 3 times as many times they have to fail as one team having to fail. That's the reason they won't win it
Well,
this
I
year.
haven't put any money behind it, but I did say it a couple months back, so I've got to hold on to it. But to be honest, I do want Milan to win because we need a change. I want
We're
Milan
going to win. We said it. We both said it last time I was on here. Simon, you agreed with me that Milan are going to win. Don't change your horse
That
now.
was 5 months ago.
Exactly. Don't change your horse.
But having said that, I do want Milan to win it. I made the prediction. I changed my prediction, obviously, 2 months ago that Juventus will, and basically just because I thought that'll be typical. Juventus come from nowhere and snatch it.
As long as Inter don't win.
They're not going to win.
Or Napoli. I hate Napoli. Sorry, they're like Inter these days.
Raise another question for me now that you say that, Anthony. So was letting Dybala the right move or the wrong move? Letting him go.
Be objective.
Objectively, it was the right move. I think.
Emotionally?
Because he refused to, on the terms that they offered him, if he had signed, yes, good. But he refused to accept those terms. He wanted the big boy money, and unfortunately his injury record and frankly the way he fails to carry the team in difficult circumstances. Against Salernitana, he'll score a goal, scored 2 goals. Against Spezia, against maybe even Roma, the small clubs, he'll score.
Changing my prediction. Roma's going to win the Serie A this year.
But other than an amazing tight angle free kick that I can remember against Atletico Madrid in the Champions League, or scoring 2 goals at Camp Nou to knock out a faltering Barcelona a few years ago, he's never been the guy.
Tottenham
at Juve.
Yeah.
Tottenham, he played well against Tottenham, but he's never been the guy. Even Higuain was a little bit more the guy. Ronaldo was the guy. Tevez.
It's sad that he doesn't understand where he is, where he's at in terms of, quality and talent at this point of his career. He could stay at Juventus, earn less money, but you're still at Juventus. Where are you going to go? Inter's not going to, if Inter's got half a brain, they're not going to give him the money that he wants. And I don't think they need him anyway,
I can imagine him going to PSG and being part of the tapestry of shiny things that they have over there.
There's a lot of talk on Atletico on Twitter
Yeah, I don't see how they could fit him though. They've got like 6 different
They
attackers.
need another second striker, don't they? Far out.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing, Dom. What is a second striker? This is a position that doesn't even really exist anymore in football.
That's it. It's gone. It doesn't exist anymore.
And that's one of the big reasons why they kind of need to get rid of him, because he plays a position that doesn't really exist and ends up being a black hole to the rest of the
Second
team.
striker, would you say Morata playing off and providing for even Vlahovic, kind of like a second striker? He plays well in that role.
He also fills a winger role.
Yeah.
He drifts out wide. He'll hustle and harry out wide. Dybala doesn't do anything. Dybala doesn't hustle and harry anywhere. I think switching to a traditional 4-3-3, as boring as it is to me, next year might be the go. They'll probably bring in somebody like Berardi to replace Dybala, which is underwhelming.
Classic Juve. Sell a player, buy him back.
Did you see? Actually, Italy played the second game this morning in the friendly. God knows why they even had to, and they played Raspadori and Scamacca up front.
Yeah.
Berardi, I think, went back home.
Mm-hmm.
And who scores the goals? Raspadori gets 2 goals.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah, I like Raspadori.
Yeah.
We've been saying it.
Pretty disappointing first goal. The Donnarumma there. Going to go straight through his legs.
I
Even the
don't even
second
see
one,
the
yeah.
highlights.
Yeah, I don't know. There's 3 minutes of highlights on YouTube, and that's all it's worth, to be honest. Because who cares? But
Well, I think the motion, like it's obvious that a lot of the Italian teams are still trying to cut spending, and just the quality of player drops when you cut in spending. That's what's happened to Serie A at the moment. The Spanish league's dealing with it as well. It's just the English league is far and away outpacing all the other ones. It's just
It's where the
what
money
it
is.
It's where the money is.
I think the demise of Serie A is being a little bit overstated, to be honest, especially in the Champions League.
Mm.
Because if you consider what happened to the 4 clubs that represent Italy, so Milan with Calabria, Tomori, Mike Magnan, Hernandez, Benacer, Kessier, Brahim Diaz, Rafael Leao, Tonali, all these guys never played Champions League before in their entire lives. They get drawn in a group with Atletico Madrid, Liverpool, and Porto, seasoned teams. They shit the bed. Okay, no worries. You hack it this season. Atalanta, but for a couple of late Cristiano Ronaldo goals and a Villarreal masterclass in the last game, Atalanta through to the next round as well. They played very good football in the group stage. Inter actually went down fighting against Liverpool, who are probably the best team in the world, and they did it without their best player, who was suspended for both games, Barella. And Juve, well, in any previous year where away goals are effective, then the Juve game against Villarreal at home becomes an advantage to Juve because we drew 1-1 in Spain. So instead of Villarreal just putting everyone behind the ball, they have to come forward and attack.
play a different game, yeah.
If Vlahovic doesn't hit the crossbar in the first half, if their keeper doesn't make a million saves, we're talking about a very different game.
Uh-huh.
So, but for a couple of, shit happens, luck, the Italian teams are doing well. So I don't think there's.
So then, on the other hand, we could translate that argument also to Italy, and we could say, but for Jorginho missing 2 penalties in 2 games against Switzerland in the qualifiers, but for a couple shots that were miraculously saved against Bulgaria, we wouldn't have even had to play this, qualifying stage, playoff stage to get to World Cup, and we would have been comfortably there.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. That argument holds for both. But so, with that argument, is it not that bad for the national team at the moment? And they should be at the World Cup.
Well, Bonucci's come out and kind of complained about it a little bit distastefully, but with merit.
That's not
classic
Bonucci, but what did he say?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but there are certain teams in other qualification zones that have lost 4, 5, 6 games in qualifying and are still able to make the World Cup. Italy didn't lose a single game in the group, but they didn't make it because they weren't first. They get put into this instant sudden death knockout thing, and with a goal in the 91st minute, they're done. Peru have lost like 6 games in qualifying, and if Australia beat
Oman,
who is
I
it?
think.
United
Or
Arab
UAE?
Emirates,
Yeah.
UAE, then Australia will play against Peru to see who qualifies for the World Cup.
Did you
Australia
see
who've lost?
Did you see the Peru-Uruguay game in the last minute?
Nah.
That guy pegged it and the keeper caught it and he walked back into the goal. And they said, and he was like, I'm pretty sure he walked into the goal and everyone's like,
Nah,
well,
I saw the photo after, but it was on the line. The ball was still on the line. He didn't go over. I saw the photo.
They got the goal line technology, sure.
Yeah, well, who knows? It's South America, probably wasn't working.
Either way, whether Australia or Peru or United Arab Emirates make it, indeed, you're going to have a shitter team than Italy in the World Cup, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles.
This is what I say. I've been saying this for years. I said it to Melo as well. The World Cup, send 128 teams there, play knockout from round one. Just play knockout the entire time. Don't worry about this group stage shit that they do, where they play 3 games. Scrap that shit.
Be a pretty
play
long
knockout. No, it wouldn't. It'd be a week longer. Because the winner now plays 7 games. If you started with 128 teams, the winner plays 7 games.
In one country or maybe in 2 countries?
Whatever. Who cares how you do it? Just who gives a shit? Don't do 2 countries. They do that now anyway.
The point of the World Cup is that everyone comes together and makes a shitload of money for FIFA.
Thank you, my point.
Concentrated area, right?
Yeah, the other problem with that rule is that you end up with Brazil, which wasted a shitload of money on a World Cup, and everyone else is starved. It was pointless sending it to Brazil. Yes, they're a soccer country, but they can't afford to hold it. It's just a waste of money.
Stadiums that they built are now crumbling.
It's just a waste of money. All those countries is always a waste of money. So I'm like, well, if you do that, just do 128 teams. At least you'll get some upsets. How cool would it be if that was a World Cup and you had a shitty small team beat like a world power 92nd minute
North
winner?
Macedonia beat Italy.
Beat Italy, 92nd minute. That's awesome.
I was praying North Macedonia would beat Portugal. That would have been.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. No, that's so was I.
But it doesn't really matter because I'm not going to watch the World Cup anyway. Unless Australia's there, I might watch 3 games.
Targeted boycott.
You got better things to do.
What's that?
You got better things to do.
Well, if Australia's there, I'll watch their 3 games that they'll inevitably only have. But I don't think they'll get there anyway.
I really liked watching the 2018 World Cup as a total neutral.
Mm-hmm.
I only watched the final of that. That was it.
It was fun.
And that was a farce, the final, because Croatia were robbed, in my opinion. But I mean, France were a better team, but on incidents during the game, Croatia were robbed.
I didn't mind the 18 World Cup. Just didn't want France to win it. I was like, anyone but France. Maybe the ingrained Italian in me was like, don't let it be France. And of course,
we're going to be saying,
who do you support? Who do you not so much support, but who would you prefer to win if even if Australia's going to be there, they're not going to be good enough to win it. But who would you want to win it now? Just someone that has never won it before, I suppose.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
Me?
Yeah. Yeah, who would you pick?
Serbia.
Oh.
Serbia.
Why Serbia?
Vlahovic,
my boy.
Okay.
That's where every Juventino is a Serbian now.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I'm tossing up between one of those. Yeah, so the Croatia, Serbia, those sorts of guys. Why not? Give them a go.
Maybe
Senegal would be a good shout.
Why not?
Maybe I'll say Croatia just because they got ripped off in the last final.
Did the Dutch make it?
Croatia
Was the Dutch through?
Yeah,
the Dutch have made it. Yeah.
Oh, did Croatia not make it this time?
Croatia made it, but they're not making it out of the group stage.
They haven't been very good.
Well, Australia definitely, if they make it, won't qualify past the group stage.
No.
Terrible.
No way.
Man, I watched that game against Japan and I was like, my God.
No, I don't know any of these Australian players apart from Matt Ryan, the keeper. The rest I don't know. Is Rogic been playing?
No, he's injured.
Yeah, he's in there.
Okay.
He didn't play the last one.
Where these players play, I just don't follow those leagues, so I don't know and that includes the A-League. I don't follow the A-League, so I don't know the players.
You're missing out on the Belgium league, Simon. It's pretty good.
What else we got, guys, to discuss? Did you bring topics? I told you to bring some topics.
I did actually, Simon. If you
Lay
would
them
like
on the
to know.
line.
If you would like to know, I have done that.
That's what I'm asking you.
Well, I was going to chat about Shane Warne. I know you're not a cricketer, but I think we should give a shout out to probably one of the greatest characters in Australian history.
Valet.
Yeah, very much
Mate,
so.
I shed a tear.
I did too. And I always maintain that I used to say, okay, anyone who was not the greatest of blokes, I'll put this up, have a sketchy past with things, but is universally loved, I call them, they're the Shane Warne of that, whatever they are, right? Because Shane Warne, basically did some pretty shady shit in his time, but there ain't one person who doesn't love Shane Warne. Honestly, as like you think about what he got done for cheating, he got done for drugs, he got done for match fixing, he got done for cheating on his wife. He got done. Ain't no one person that doesn't love Shane Warne.
I'm telling you, please. Yeah, how can you put
I love
he just
Shane
gave
Warne
pitch
still.
report. That's not match fixing.
He did not.
It's literally done for that. That's what it's called.
He didn't get paid for
Did
it.
he get a ban or was it a fine for the match fixing thing?
He was never captain of Australia because of that.
Yes, that's true. He was naive, but he was not fixing any games, and I also don't believe that he took drugs on purpose.
Oh, I guarantee he would have taken drugs to lose weight because that was Shane Warne. But it's still
Yeah, but that's what it was. It was a weight loss drug.
against
And the
rules,
sad
man.
part was that drug within 3 months, while he was suspended, came off the ban list. Because
See
all
what
it
I
is
mean?
a diuretic.
You're proving
you know what I
my
mean?
point.
All it does is make you
proving
piss.
my point. You're doing exactly what people do. You're doing it right now. This is what I'm talking
Easy
about.
does it. Leave my
You're letting him off the hook, Mel.
I love Shane Warne, right?
Love
Don't get me wrong,
Shane
but
Warne.
you're excusing all the behaviour because he's Shane Warne.
Mate, he's
He was.
superstar.
I've always said he's the Maradona of cricket.
Yeah,
so
there you go. Exactly. That's it.
Maybe Maradona was the Shane Warne of football.
Big call.
I don't like that at all.
I like it. We call it that. We're supposed to have to change the stadium now, eh? The Warne, one of the Warne stadiums. Well, they've changed the name of the wing, haven't they?
The stand at the MCG is
For the MCG and the SCG, or just the MCG? Did they say?
Oh, they'll probably do something.
I think they
SCG
did
as
something
well.
at the SCG as well. That's pretty cool.
What did they take the name off?
It was the Ponsford stand, I think, at the MCG.
Oh,
I think about it like
Wherever
that because
Ponsford was.
Maradona has the record for being the only guy to have a stadium named after him in 2 different countries. Like that's a wicked honor. Like, he's got one in Argentina, and then he's obviously got the São Paulo, right? Which they've now changed.
Yeah,
the
but
name.
one claim that he doesn't have, Elizabeth Hurley.
Oh,
He might. I don't know. It was Maradona.
He
So,
might.
It was Maradona. Who knows? It's possible. It's possible.
she's
You got-
ridiculous.
yeah.
Man.
Smoking.
She's in her late 50s, and or maybe mid, and she's still ridiculous. It's unbelievable.
Smoking.
Purely what was amazing was a friend of ours who posted something on Facebook. He said, Val Shane Warne. And the photo he put up was a photo of Shane Warne with 4 women. And I was like, that is the perfect encapsulation of Shane Warne.
That's just the photo,
And I was like, that is
not to mention
the video. That I was like, that's such a Shane Warne thing to do. But I mean, he will always be like, he's Shane Warne. He's taken too early, unfortunately.
Like, there was a couple of good stories that came about him that no one knew. Like the one Eddie Maguire said when they were in New York City and he gave tickets to the Bangladeshi taxi driver. The guy was like blown away, you know what I mean? There's a few stories like that come out. It's like, holy crap, you know? It's amazing. And
I love those stories, about celebrities that they're bigger than anyone, and then you hear these things that they've done that they've kept quiet. That's brilliant.
Like when he went to the Rajasthan Royals there, that first season, amazing.
How they were last.
How they were last. Had
And they
no
were a bunch
hope.
of nobodies. And
He put a bit of hope into them, a bit of faith into them. He said, boys, inspired all these young guys. And look at them, they won the championship. No one gave them a chance in hell.
that's brilliant.
It was brilliant.
Anthony, you're noticeably quiet there. You obviously are not into cricket in any way, shape, or form, right?
Well, I mean, sometimes I have what do you call it? Insomnia, and then I'm very interested in cricket.
It's funny you say that because there's 2020 cricket and one day cricket, and I got no interest in those. But a test match, I like.
Where's the other way?
And that's obviously it would be, in your opinion, the boring form, the most boring form. But that's the one form that I do like.
If I sat for an hour, I couldn't tell you the difference between those things, Simon. So,
We're going to talk Formula One?
Formula One, nah. But I do accidentally go to Melbourne every year during the Formula One weekend and get slugged double for flights and accommodation without realizing. So I am affiliated.
Looking forward to this season. Not going to be just Mercedes, so it's a good start so far.
2 double podiums in a row. It's not bad.
For Ferrari, yeah.
Far out.
I don't know if you're aware of what happened last week, but it was a it was a terrorist attack actually happened, but it was a missile attack in Saudi Arabia while they were racing. so they could see the smoke and stuff while they were on the track. And they decided to race anyway. And I'm like,
Fair bump play on.
yeah, I was like, okay, that's that. No, you're not going to cancel it. All right, then. No worries. Continue
But
on.
they reckon they wouldn't have been allowed to leave if they pulled up stumps.
Yeah, that's
Sorry,
it.
there's another cricket reference for you.
Yeah. They're it was real suspect. But
So they were kind of held hostage.
I've got this real annoyance with a lot of leagues. Like the Italian league does it, where they play in Saudi Arabia for some unknown reason. The Spanish do it. They all do it. And I'm like, I don't like, obviously the money's a draw card, but I'm like, everyone wants to make this stand about politics and about equal rights and shit, and then you just happily accept the money and stay quiet while you do it.
It's just like what's going on with Russia, Ukraine at the moment, you know? All right, they've done a bunch of these sanctions on Russia, but how many of these countries are still, you know, taking their oil, their gas, and, you know, they've still got their deals going on and nothing's changed.
Absolutely.
Well,
Abramovich
has been relieved of Chelsea because his country is involved in the bombing of the Ukraine. But you don't see the Premier League trying to relieve, or indeed the British government trying to relieve the owners of Newcastle United or Manchester City of their ownership, despite the fact that their countries have been bombing Yemen for a lot longer than Ukraine.
So it's stupid hypocrisy. No, it's amazing that they put this stance on Abramovich now, right? Which I'm not saying they shouldn't have, whatever, that's the case. But like 3 months ago or 4 months ago, you okayed the Saudi Arabia deal. I was like, really? Now, so it's only just now you realise this. You didn't know this 4 months ago or something like that. It's all crony. They're all hypocrites.
Did Abramovich get poisoned or something?
Yeah. How's
So
that?
he's actually been part of the truce or peacemaking negotiations between both sides.
Yeah.
He seems to be the key guy. He's passing. He's the messenger. He's passing letters from Zelensky in Ukraine to Putin. It's very strange.
So apparently the Russians, they poisoned the negotiators and Abramovich. That they got, and I was like, wow, that's a ballsy move. Should we say? All right.
I wonder if they meant to do it to Abramovich or if he's just collateral damage.
I don't think they accidentally poison people.
Yeah, but have you guys been following the war over there at all?
Just highlights on YouTube, man.
Low lights.
Well, I was gonna say, like, some of the highlights on YouTube. I've been watching clips from Vice News. My God, that's some of the best war reporting I've ever seen. And I'm saying this about Vice, who's very, you know, left wing, but they've been like camped out with soldiers and all kinds of stuff. It's just been unbelievable to watch it.
Well, it's the first real war with a lot of social media, really.
Got to get the content. Got to get TikTok. TikTok isn't going to sleep.
There's a bunch of, you know, social media, you know, if there's, you know, bad pictures or videos that go up, a lot of it gets deleted. But if you follow certain channels on Telegram, some of the things that I've seen on there, like, you know, gruesome stuff, like people, it's just lots of excuses for people to go around murdering. And it's all
that's
on
war,
video.
but
it's sickening.
It's what it is, unfortunately. We're a bit reserved. We're a bit, we don't really feel the impact because it's not, you know, this is the...
Oh, we're feeling it at the Bowser, I can tell you.
Yeah, no, but I get that. But we don't, I mean, we're an island on the other side of the world. I don't know if we really understand the impact it has on people.
Oh, the context,
when we're here.
Are we feeling it at the Bowser because of the war, or are they just using this as an excuse
Both.
to pump up the prices?
Definitely both.
Because do we get our petrol directly from Russia? Isn't it ours more from the Middle East? How's this work?
No, but it's supply and demand. So when the supply rushes, the demand's up. So there you go, pay more.
So it's just that there's been a depletion of oil from the pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And any chance they get to raise the price.
I cycle everywhere.
He gets the tram.
No, there's no tram here just yet, but I have been cycling everywhere. I've become one of those dickheads.
Are you gone to an electric cycle?
No. I've got to keep match fit, gentlemen. Stand-up comedy takes a lot of stamina.
You could join the crew here and just get an e-scooter. I swear they're everywhere now.
They had them in Adelaide where you just get the app and you type it in and you just go for a ride. It's cool.
Scoot your way around Adelaide.
Are they in Perth?
Yeah, they're everywhere now.
They're on the sides of the streets.
Yeah, so they're all along the coast. At any point along the coast, you can pick one up and ride all the way down the coast if you wanted to. So they just kind of started.
But what about in the city? Because I don't want to pay for Ubers.
There is, but most people have their own. A lot of people just carry their own and they just jump on and off because the public transport's free in the city, so they just jump on and off. And then when you're out of the city, you ride it there. But they're everywhere now, honestly.
Public transport's free.
Yeah, they got these buses called cat buses. You can just jump on them as long as you're within the city. Yeah, you can just get around that way.
Wonderful.
Look for the cat, the yellow cat, the red cat, the green cat, and the blue cat.
I'm so excited.
We should be sponsored by Tourism WA over here, I reckon.
Yeah, I reckon. Hey, why are we selling this? Yeah, but there's no cheap way to get to Roto though. So don't listen to anyone who tells you there is. All right.
You could swim.
Maybe when you send a clip to Tourism WA to ask for sponsorship. Don't send the one where you said that Kim Kardashian was sucking a big black cock.
I might have to do some edits.
Maybe just a couple beeps will do the roll.
It's true, but it's like that's where it all started.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Well,
Hey, we've all got to start somewhere.
Well, she was actually, wasn't she Paris Hilton's closet assistant or something?
Yeah, she was Paris Hilton's personal assistant.
Yeah.
For a little while.
Mate, she was ahead of the curve when you think about it. She was doing reality shows before we knew what reality shows were. Holy
Ahead
shit.
of the curve.
She was,
Was
mate.
it was it curved?
It was,
I don't know.
it's just, that was possibly. I didn't critique it that much.
But was it Chris Pratt Dom had that joke?
Yeah, but a comeback story. Your favorite comeback story.
They talk about your favorite comeback story, and he goes, "Oh, I'm pretty sure Kim Kardashian had a comeback story." And they go, "What are you talking about?" Yeah, she had a video with come on her back.
You reckon I got to make some edits? Ant?
Yeah, cut that one out.
How's that one?
That was
that one
brilliant. That was funny. He was like,
Yeah, he has a few of those. All right. What, Simon, you know what I'll ask? I want a light-hearted one now, but
Oh, I was going to wrap it up. All right, Dom, carry. Go on. Go.
no, one more light-hearted one because all I want to do is borders are now open in WA finally. Finally, all right? All right. First, should we say first place you want to go to internationally? Or where do you miss? What do you miss internationally and where would you want to go?
You're asking me?
I'll ask you first, Simon.
Oh, well, obviously to Italy, to follow the Serie A up and down the peninsula. It's been a long time since I did that.
I know, it's a shame, isn't it? I expect the prices to be crazy. Have you booked
I'd
it
want to
yet?
go
or
to
what?
Europe. No, I haven't booked anything. I'm not.
Get on there, book it. Locascio, what are we talking? Back to Italy?
Oh, well, I've been able to go anywhere for a while.
That's
now,
true.
But,
Yeah, just pretend for our
I
benefit.
was supposed to go to Japan a couple of years
wicked.
ago, so I really want to go to Japan. I think I am actually going to Greece later in the year, so that'll
Beautiful.
be nice. Assuming you guys get all your cousins to buy tickets to my show and I make money in Perth, then I'll be able to afford it. So
We'll get it done.
step up.
Get it done.
And Italy as well, obviously.
Yeah. I'm actually looking forward to get back to Singapore one day.
Maybe go and watch the Super Cup in Saudi Arabia or something like
Yeah, maybe
Nice,
not
nice.
after the comments we made here.
that. You won't be allowed in.
I'd like to go to Malaysia.
You won't be allowed out. You'll be held hostage.
That's it. That's my problem. My concern is getting back, I think, rather than getting there.
Melo wants to go to Malaysia. No one asked him.
Yeah.
I
That's it.
knew the answer. It's fine.
I want to go have a cold beer. A cold beer in Malaysia.
Malaysia for GP or for MotoGP? Or?
Yeah, I'd like to go for the MotoGP, but just Malaysia. I like that place.
I do miss getting on a plane.
It's affordable. Beer's cold.
I'll be going there. I'll be going sooner rather than later. My partner is Malaysian, so we'll be going.
Oh, Malaysia Bule.
That's it.
What does that mean?
Go Malaysia. Like Forza Italia, same thing.
Forza Italia.
Are they in the World Cup? We can get behind them.
Mate, they're big EPL supporters. Everywhere there, mate. EPL. Crazy over there.
This is because they package their product, right? Serie A's a big problem. And I don't know if have you listened to the latest episode of Serie A Chronicles, Anthony?
Today's
The one that came out this week, yesterday.
with what's his name?
With Adriano Del Monte.
Adriano, I'm halfway through.
So some of the things that he says is very spot on about how, the marketing and the PR that they are just so inept at, and the broadcast rights and everything. Because this year we had 2, maybe 3 hours before the kickoff of the first match, they finally did the deal for KO and Fox and Foxtel to get the feed from beIN. It's such a balls up, and how they just don't pay attention to packaging the product for the rest of the world. And then you've got leagues like the Bundesliga and the Premier League that just come in and take over because they care about, their products being seen internationally. And Serie A, this is one of the big problems with Italian football.
Too much bureaucracy, too much red tape, too many forms to sign. Nothing happens.
Nobody wants to lift a finger.
I've been waiting for my Italian passport for 3 years. No one said anything about it. We sent our documents off, and they've given us shit.
Yeah.
There was a guy
Wow.
in Napoli who got busted for taking 35 years worth of checks from a hospital that he never worked at. They were paying him for 35 years straight. And because it was just pure paperwork the whole time, nobody checking anything, no one doing anything, they paid him for 35 years straight, a wage from a hospital. He never worked a day in his life.
Yep.
Did they expect him, once they found that, did they expect him to pay it back?
Yeah, of course, but I don't think he will.
He's not got the money saved in his bank account. He would have been blowing that.
Not
for
under
sure.
the pillow.
I'll tell you a story my dad told me once about working for the government in Italy, about a guy there who got a job at the post office. He tells a story. He got a job at the post office, which back then was a very, very good job. And he said all of a sudden nobody was receiving their mail. All right, whatever. The post service, no one thought anything about it. Until they'd go to the beach and saw these letters being washed up at the beach. So instead of the guy driving around posting the mail, he would take the mail and just throw it in the ocean every day. Dad's like, I have no idea why you'd think that would work, first of all. But like, you could have done so many things. But throw it in.
Buried it, throw it in the bin.
Shred it, man.
Well, if you throw it in the ocean, if it's meant to be, it'll find you. If it's destiny, it'll come to you.
Maybe put some letters in a bottle.
There's no logic to that at all. And that's it explains the Italian postal service, to be honest. But that'd explain why you're waiting 3 years for your passport, man. You just have to wait at the ocean there.
But did you do it in Sydney through the consulate there, or?
Yep. Did it in Sydney through the consulate. Went to two different sessions at the consulate. Were told on 2 different occasions that we had the wrong paperwork, even though we brought the exact paperwork that they told us to bring the previous time.
Classic.
And yeah, just a schmozzle.
It's such an Italian story.
Mate, when I did mine, it was a bit of a pain in the backside, but I did it, worked it all out. What did it take us? 6 months, a year to do?
It was 6 months because you had to wait for the appointment. It was 6 months. Then it was 12 months all up.
But once I knew what I was doing, I told my mate, and I said, this is what you got to do. But before you go there, I said, go get this, go get your certificate, go get your mum's marriage certificate, get your nonna's certificate, all this stuff. Get it all translated, get copies. So when he went there, they said, oh, you need to do this. He goes, I've done it. You need to do this. I've done it. And it took him 6 weeks in the end. He got it in 6 weeks.
That's got to be a record.
I do a bit of work for the Patronato here in Perth, and they've got a guy who comes and manages. So he lives in America and he manages Oceania, North America, South America, and Africa. And so I asked him once. So here it takes about a year to 18 months to do it. And he said they got issues in other countries. So Brazil, the current wait time is 15 years for an appointment. And I'm like, really? He's like, yep. 15
That's why all
years.
the Brazilians go to Italy to do it.
Yeah, it's why they all fly over there and live there for a bit to get their passport. Because if your parents don't do it for you and you sign your name on today, it's now pushed out to about 15 years. But there's also a bit of pressure from the European Union to stop giving out so many passports. So it ain't like the Italians were giving out a lot. And I'm like, at the same time, you knew the rule before you entered the European Union. You knew that was the case. It's always been the case since the 80s, right? But that's just what it is. So we spending 18 months here to do it is actually probably one of, if not the fastest in the world, weirdly enough. Italian bureaucracy, mate.
Let's wrap it up. Anthony, before we go, just tell us again those dates that you're going to be here and also where to get the ticket.
The 6th and the 7th of May, 2022. And it'll be at 7:30 at the Regal Theatre. And if you go to the perthcomedyfestival.com and just search my name, that's where you can get tickets.
Brilliant.
Or you can see my Instagram and the links will be there.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate
Thank
your
you
time.
so much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Who knows what somber Italian news we'll have to talk about by the next time I see you guys.
Well, it could be that AC Milan still on top.
The worst would be Inter winning. That would be depressing.
That's devastating. Don't say that.
No.
After they draw 0-0 with Juve this weekend, it's not going to happen.
Italian masterclass. Take care, mate.
All right, guys. Ciao, ciao.
So.
Do you feel more Greco, more Italian? Like, how do you want me to answer this question? How do I do this? Like, how do I feel? Like, what do you want me to do? Go on WebMD, type in my symptoms. Like, all right, shit at soccer and I live off past glory. Tick for Greek. But I grossly overstate the importance of my art for wider societies. Tick for Italian. I'm shit with money. Tick for Greek. But I'm not above doing some shifty shit to get money. That's tick for Italian. I'm hairy, I've got a beard, I've got eyebrows thick as cafe toast. So tick for both. But I'm never ever creepy around women. Never creepy around women, so that's a tick for neither. WebMD diagnosis, even Steven, guys, 50-50, tick for both.
Fraud, call me a wug, tell me about all these numbers on the board. Don't call me a god or call me a pawn, or try to just fit me to your little squad. This wasn't the plan, I am